If you're looking for a quality pre-owned vehicle at a competitive price, look no further than Jasper Auto Sales. Jasper Auto Sales is Alabama's most trusted pre-owned dealer, offering trucks, cars, and SUVs for nothing short of fair prices. With a staff as friendly and knowledgeable as the guys at Jasper Auto Sales, it's no surprise that most customers become repeat buyers. Stop by for a test drive today or give Jasper Auto Sales a call at 205-221-7878. That's 205-221-7878.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to a tropical episode of the Game Managers Podcast, where we talk Alabama and Auburn and SEC football every week. This week, here live from Panama City Beach, where nothing is going on. My name is Nick Norris. I'm a sports writer for a few websites and publications, and with me, as always, are my great friends, Auburn fan Justin Knight.
Hello, everyone.
And Alabama fan Aaron Patterson.
Hello.
Aaron just woke up. He's a little grumpy. He didn't want to record this morning. Did you, Aaron?
No.
But we're going to, because we are dedicated to bringing you wholesome, great content.
That's right. It's also a little bright out here.
Yeah,
I just had my breakfast.
it is quite bright out here. Also, we're on one microphone. The audio levels might be bad. And I'm sure you can hear the ocean in the background. Hopefully it's peaceful and not annoying. Well, anyways, this is the last episode of 2019, guys.
Sweet.
Yeah, but yet I want to know what your New Year's resolutions are.
An Auburn win.
One Auburn win. That's it. That's strong. Aaron?
To never do a podcast this early ever again.
And by this early, he means at 9:38 a.m. So I think mine is going to be to graduate.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe get a job.
I guess that should be mine. That should be mine.
Yeah. Sounds good. So how about we start out the morning with a little bit of Twitter news.
I am not ready at all.
Well, I'm going to stall while Aaron gets some tweets. Aaron, I DM'd you one that I think we can talk about for a while.
Yeah, Aaron, you suck.
I literally just woke up and you said, all right, let's do this. All right, y'all ready? Okay, let's start. Hey, everyone.
In my defense, I told you an hour to go to find your tweet.
I was asleep.
I don't have anything else to say. You already know Aaron sucks, so.
You do know Aaron sucks. Aaron, tell him how much you suck.
Yeah, sorry. No.
Well, while Aaron is looking up Twitter news, we'll come back to that. We're going to talk about, let's go ahead and talk about the LSU-Oklahoma game since there's not much to talk about there. So, our Facebook poll we put out, 67% of our listeners said LSU would win.
Only 67?
Only 67.
Well, all I have to say from the game is the best quarterback performance I've ever seen. And just like the one half of football. When he ended up with, 7 touchdowns? And just the first half, 403 yards. It's incredible.
Yeah, he put on a show yesterday. Jalen Hurts, not so much. He didn't have his best game. Right here, I'm going to compare the stats. So, Jalen Hurts, 15 of 31, 217 yards, no touchdowns through the air and an interception, but he did have 2 off the ground, only 43 yards rushing, though. Meanwhile, Joe Burrow, 29 for 39, 493 yards, 7 touchdowns through the air, no interceptions, and then he also had 1 on the ground, too. So 8 touchdowns he was responsible for. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, and thinking about the national championship game, I don't know what Clemson will be able to do to stop them, but I did like what I saw from Clemson in the second half, now they made their adjustments against Ohio State, because that was probably that was a top 5 offense who was scoring like 46, 47 points a game. So I think it'll be a good game, but I guess we'll wait and see what happens. But I'm also very impressed with OSU's defense and how they've been playing the past 3 or 4 games. They've really stepped up, and now they're a complete team that I don't see anybody beating.
I was really impressed with Justin Jefferson. He had 4 of those touchdowns, 227 yards. Where do you see him ranking in the nation as a receiver?
I'd either say first or second, because you got Jerry Jeudy up there too. But those would be the first 2 wide receivers I think taken in the draft. Those 2 guys are very good, and I think they're going to do great things in the NFL.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how this LSU team holds up against Clemson. I think it's going to be a really good game. One thing I was a little surprised about, Jalen Hurts did not fumble the ball once, nor did Oklahoma at all. That's something he's struggled with all season. Instead, the turnover came by a pick. So, still turned the ball over, but yeah, just not his best game whatsoever. Where do you think he's going to go in the draft, Aaron?
I still think he's probably a 3rd-round pick.
Yeah, I think I'd agree with that. Would you say the same thing?
Yeah, I would too. When I think of Jalen, I kind of think of Russell Wilson, and Russell Wilson went like third or 4th in the draft too, I think. So they're kind of similar in how they move and how they're built too. So yeah, I could see him going 3rd or 4th round.
Right now, is Joe Burrow the number 1 quarterback in your opinion?
Yes.
Justin?
Yeah, not much to say on that one.
Yeah, I think so too. I think there was a little bit of argument before this game. After this one, I don't know why you wouldn't pick him. He's so accurate.
Yeah, and like I keep saying, I would have never thought this after seeing him last year, but what a good OC and a change in offense will do for a quarterback kind of helps him break out, and he's able to see the field better with the reads and just the way the offense is run. But yeah, I feel sorry for him though, because he'll be going to the Bengals. I mean, I wish him luck, but I don't know what to expect from the Bengals next year.
What's funny is he's going from one phenomenal Bengals team to a really lousy one. But yeah, I wish him the best. I am interested to see, and we're thinking way too far ahead here. I'm interested to see how this LSU team looks like next year without Joe Burrow and likely without Joe Brady as well.
I have heard a couple people say that they still think that Chase Young might go to the Bengals over. Yeah, it's just, I mean, that's just the only people who know that is the Bengals themselves and how much faith they still have in Andy Dalton, and that's I don't know. Yeah, it's a risk, but how long has Andy been with them? He's not. Yeah, he's not that old though. And Chase Young is pretty incredible himself. So I don't know. I feel like Chase Young still has a chance to go to the Bengals 1st overall. But those are definitely the first 2 draft picks, 1 and 2. There's no doubt in my mind about that.
Yeah, this is one of the drafts I'm actually kind of excited about. Usually, I'm kind of like, oh, whatever. I'll watch it every once in a while, flip it on and off. But there's a lot of players I'm interested to see how high they go, especially this receiver class.
Yeah, and talking about Chase Young going first, looking at the draft order right now, of course the Bengals have the 1st pick, and then you have the Redskins with the 2nd pick. They wouldn't go with Joe Burrow with them having Haskins. So if Burrow doesn't go first, I don't know though. They might. I mean, but then you have Detroit with 3rd. They're not going to go because they still have Stafford. And then you have the Dolphins. So if he doesn't go first, he'd probably end up with the Dolphins. But I don't know. We'll see. It could. I mean, I haven't seen much from Dwayne Haskins to say, he's the franchise quarterback this year. But then again, their whole team is pretty bad, so I don't know. But yeah, that's what I think will happen.
So were you guys surprised with the score? I think we all knew that LSU was going to win, but 63-28 is quite embarrassing.
Yeah, that's pretty rough. Yeah, it's just really, that was rough.
Honestly, do we expect anything different from Oklahoma at this point? I mean, the one good chance was against Georgia, and they blew that. So, I mean, now it's just they're going to lose the SEC team in the playoffs. I mean, that's what they do. So, I guess I was just surprised to see Joe Burrow throw for 7 touchdowns in the first half. I think everybody was surprised to see that. And I expected Oklahoma's offense to do a better job. So, but then again, I mean, nobody else is surprised that it ended up like this.
Yeah, I was not surprised that LSU won, but putting up 63 points and holding Oklahoma to just 28. Holding Oklahoma to 28 was not that surprising, but putting up 63 was. I mean, I have no doubt in my mind they're the best team in the country right now, but I'm still interested to see how they fare against Clemson.
And to think Ohio State was the best team ever assembled. Some people were saying that kind of pushes some of my buttons. I can't believe that was said.
Has Joe Klatt issued an apology for that yet?
I don't believe so, and I'm definitely waiting standby. I want him to come out right now and say it.
Although he may stand by it as he did for who was it, USC he continued?
Yeah, I believe it was USC. He said was top 5. I think it was I can't remember what year it was.
He just saying the team that won against Oklahoma that was taken away and then lost to Texas that next year too? Is he just saying that combined team? Or is he just saying the year they
I'm
lost
pretty
to Texas?
sure he said the year they lost to Texas. I could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure it was just the year they lost to Texas. They lost a game, but yet they were one of the greatest, the top 5 greatest teams, college football teams ever assembled.
Interesting.
I will definitely find that clip. Not this episode probably, but I'm going to find it.
Find the clip too of him talking about how great Ohio State is. Like they're a top 5 team ever. He was saying something on Colin Cowherd about that too.
Oh, Colin Cowherd and Joe Klatt. So my question is, with Oklahoma now at 0-4 in the playoffs, what does it say about this program, and how do they get over this hump?
I don't think they ever will, because they're never going to have a good defense. And as you can see, when you look at Clemson and LSU's defense has finally come together at the right time. Clemson's defense had a great second half, giving up only 7 points. And I just don't see Oklahoma. I mean, that's just the Big 12 in general. You're never going to have – I mean, Baylor was the best defensive team this year in the Big 12. So, I don't know. And with Jalen gone now, I know they have a top quarterback. I think his name's like Riddle or something. I don't know his name. I've heard that he's pretty good. But who knows with Lincoln Riley? I mean, I've heard he's going to be gone, take an NFL job. So I don't know what their season's going to be next year, but it's not going to be this. They won't make the playoffs next year.
What was the question? I just went completely blank.
It was
Will Oklahoma get over the hump?
yeah.
Yeah, eventually, but it's just they're another Georgia, in my opinion, that just gets to the big moments, and I don't know, they have those great recruiting classes, and they just get there and then can't do anything with it, so therefore it's useless. I just make a call to the SEC or something, or the best bet is to get somebody else in the Big 12 that's actually good, that they can be like. When Texas is actually back, I think that will help Oklahoma. If they just need, I don't know. Yeah, hopefully they can get over the hump.
Yeah, I think until they get a defense, they're going to be right where they are. I think good enough with a bad Big 12 to get back there, and but not have very much success in it. Maybe pick off a semifinal game at some point, but I don't know that they can win 2 back-to-back in the national championship. You know, and maybe, and I think Lincoln Riley's a phenomenal coach, but maybe him leaving will open up some opportunities to build a more defensive-heavy program.
What about who they would hire, though? That would be very interesting.
Yeah, I don't know, and of course he's not dead set on leaving, but the rumor is that he will go to the Cowboys. If y'all were Lincoln Riley, what would you do?
I'm probably taking the Cowboys job.
That's a hard one to turn down.
Yeah, and the fact that he hasn't won a national championship at Oklahoma. I mean, now if I would have won a national championship, would have gotten a nice contract, I would be like, that's going to be kind of hard to leave. But 0-4 in the playoff, and then you have the Cowboys coming after you, and you're going to have a pretty good contract with them. I'd say I'd take the Cowboys.
Well, right now, supposedly it's between Lincoln Riley, Urban Meyer, and a few others, but they seem to round out the top. I'm interested to see which one they go with, or which one take it. Maybe Lincoln Riley turns it down. I don't know. I don't think he will, but who would you guys rather seen LSU play than Oklahoma, because they didn't put up much of a fight?
Oh, you're talking about for the number 4 spot?
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, Alabama wasn't healthy, so not Alabama. But obviously, I would love to see another rematch if they were healthy. But I'm not sure. I have to look at the rankings.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to see Georgia again.
Absolutely.
I mean, I wouldn't mind to see Oregon, but I think it would have been the same thing just with how their defenses. But I think Oregon's defense is better than Oklahoma's. And you would have had another great quarterback in Justin Herbert. But I can't think of any other teams I would have rather seen in that spot. I don't want to see Baylor there. It would have been the same thing. So mine would have been Oregon.
Well, our other game, or Aaron, do you have your Twitter news ready?
Yeah, I have quite a bit.
Okay. Let's jump to that then.
Twitter news.
Playoffs? Let's talk about playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game.
It really doesn't matter what you think.
You play to win the game. You play to win the game.
All right, I'm just going to run through these. So I do have quite a few. All right, a guy on Twitter said, whoa. Oh, for the record, Lawrence is awful for RPO game. Clemson needs a more mobile quarterback to help that running game. Nobody's scared of 16 keeping it. Sounds familiar. Great passer, but not good for a run game. That didn't age well. What do you have? Career long, like 67-yard run.
107 rushing and a touchdown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
67-yard longest rush.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Okay, where was I? I just completely lost my spot. Okay. Reddit College Football on Twitter said the SEC has long been given a hard time for scheduling cupcakes in late November, but LSU scheduling one in late December is just unheard of.
That's rough.
Evan Sachs says Joe Burrow has thrown more TDs in Mercedes-Benz Stadium in 2019 than Matt Ryan.
I saw that.
That's nuts.
And,
Is that true?
I believe it is.
And Justin Jefferson has more
Burrow
touchdowns
has
than
11
Julio.
and Ryan has
Oh, my
had
goodness.
8. That's crazy.
Yeah, and Justin said that Justin Jefferson has more touchdowns than Julio.
Yeah, that's nuts.
That is insane.
They played their 2 games.
2 games.
2 games.
Oh man. AT&T should use these refs for their "just okay is not okay" campaign.
But see, I have seen a lot of people complain about the refs in the Clemson Ohio State game.
Yes.
But then again, Ohio State was driving the ball. If he doesn't throw the interception, they win the game.
Were those SEC refs?
They were.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah, it'd be hilarious if AT&T came out with a commercial that actually showed refs and just did like teams colored the same way. That would be hilarious.
Call us AT&T. We'll sell you this commercial idea.
Yeah, it was totally our idea.
Yeah, not that we found it on Twitter.
This game is 100% ending in a Ohio State man, I can't talk. This game is 100% ending in an Ohio State interception. This is a team and school that doesn't know how to win big games. Sure, you can beat Michigan, but what does that prove? If you're not first, you're last. I'd rather have my dignity and a horrible football program.
He called that before?
He called this at like halftime.
Oh my goodness.
When Clemson started to come back, he called it.
Wow.
And he was right. I thought that was pretty incredible. Skip Bayless said on 12/7/19, please let LSU be the number 1 seed. Oklahoma would have a much better chance versus LSU than Ohio State. Somebody retweeted it and said he gets paid for this.
Yeah, he does. A lot of money.
He really does.
A
Lots
lot
and lots of money. Oh, man. Somebody tweeted halfway between the Clemson game, right before Clemson scored, they tweeted, Big Ten football, just different. ACSC can't hang.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, well, that guy looks like a freaking idiot.
Yeah, he sure does.
Greg McElroy tweeted, anyone that's surprised by this result hasn't watched Oklahoma play this year. They are a flawed team with holes on both sides of the ball. The talent gap between them and the other college football playoff teams is ridiculous.
Yeah, I think we all kind of knew that, but it seems like a lot of people were kind of surprised. Also, read the one that I sent you.
Okay, I will. This says breaking. Atlanta Police Department reporting they have been overwhelmed with phone calls reporting an ongoing homicide in Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
That's pretty good.
Clay Travis says death taxes in Oklahoma getting whipped in the first round of the college football playoff.
Traditions right there.
That's right. All right, that's all I got, and then I'll read. Well, there's been several that are like this, but on Tua's Snapchat, he just has a picture of his helmet and him in the background. It just says patience ...
Yeah, so I think he's coming back. He can't. I don't think he's gonna keep teasing the fan base like this and not come back. He's been putting too many clues out there. I think it'd be kind of it could be misleading, but yeah.
Here's my only thing. If I'm in Tua's shoes, I've been hurt twice now, and this last one could have been even more devastating than it is. They're still projecting me to go 4th overall. I don't think I'm risking it to play another season in college. That's just me. I'm taking that big signing bonus. I'm going to the Dolphins. I'm going to sit out the whole season and then come back next season. Play it safe.
No, and I think most people would do that, especially me. I would definitely take that money. But it just seems like he's really struggling with this decision, and I wouldn't be surprised if he decides to come back to Alabama, finish his degree, and
When is he coming back? Because they said that the timeline was he might not be back for the start of the season. Or is he going to be back?
I'm not sure. I thought he would be back before the beginning of the season.
Around the spring or summer that he's supposed to be. Yeah.
Well, is he still projected to go 4th overall? Because if I'm a GM, I'm not taking him 4th overall.
That's what they have projected right now.
Yeah.
Overall.
I'm not.
The Dolphins really.
No, the Dolphins really bad.
They're definitely going to risk it all no matter what.
Everybody, every fan definitely wants it. But if I'm a GM, I don't know.
If his legs cut off, they'd probably still pick him.
They want him bad.
Yeah,
I think.
Then, like you said earlier, then you got to think. It comes down to if Chase Young goes first, and then I won't go to the Dolphins. Then I'm not a first-round pick. Then I don't make it.
know that.
Yeah, I
Would
don't.
they pick, like we talked about how much the Dolphins love Tua, would they pick Joe? I mean, they probably would pick Joe.
Surely they would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
But I think he might pick it off what Chase Young's going to do. If he decides to stay, because there've been rumors about him staying another year.
yeah, I think I had something on Twitter news last time about him tweeting saying something about staying. Surely there's no way Chase Young stays.
Well, with them losing last night, that might make it even a better chance of him staying again, which is crazy.
I still don't think he stays. There's no way. Like, he's completely healthy.
Yeah.
He's 100% a 1 or 2.
Oh, easily.
There's no doubt.
But he'll probably go to the Redskins.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of Ohio State, let's talk about their loss last night, 29-23 to Clemson. They jumped out to a 16-0 lead. Blew it, of course. And Trevor Lawrence, 18 for 33, 259 yards, 2 through the air, touchdowns through the air, 0 interceptions, and of course the one rushing touchdown. Justin Fields, he looked good, except for those 2 picks.
Yeah.
Though I don't really blame him for the last one.
For the last one.
30 for 46, 320 yards, a touchdown through the air, and then the 2 interceptions. That one, his receiver slipped, and it looked like he tried.
Miscommunication.
Yeah, it looked like he tried to stop the pass, but it was too late, and it just got picked off. You know that when you're playing in you got 2 minutes left on the clock, you got to take some risks. They don't often work out, so it didn't work out then. But overall, I was pretty impressed with both these teams. It was a really fun game to watch.
Yeah, I think I was just when we were watching it and Ohio State went up 16-0. I didn't really see Clemson coming back to win it. But I think what was so huge is when Ohio State went up 10-0, they held them to a field goal and a field goal twice in the red zone, and that's the only way, like I said, when I'm talking about the next game, Clemson could win is just if their defense can play as great as they did in the second half. But, yeah, both teams were great. This is what I think everybody hoped for. And there were some calls, but, I mean, you can't blame it on the calls. Ohio State had a chance to win it at the end there. And it was a miscommunication by the quarterback and receivers. So, but I think Trevor Lawrence is going to be great. I know he didn't have a great start to the season, but, I mean, these past 8 or 9 games, he's only thrown 1 interception to the 8 he had in the first 3 games. So I think – and that's another thing that's huge for when you're looking at quarterbacks as a GM is just how he plays in the big games. And once again, he's had another fantastic performance. He doesn't turn the ball over in the big games. But, I think Ohio State will have another solid team next year with Fields and if Chase Young was to come back. So, but, yeah, it was a great game to watch.
Yeah, I don't really expect Ohio State to drop anywhere. Neither for Clemson. I mean, right now, and of course it's way too early, but Trevor Lawrence is obviously projected to be the number 1 draft in 2021. So that could easily change. But the way he's been playing these last few weeks, I expect to see a good performance out of him in the national championship.
Yeah, I don't think Clemson or Ohio State's going anywhere, especially with Clemson having the number 1 draft class. We talked a little bit about it last night, but how do you think Ryan Day will actually do at Ohio State? Because, I mean, like we talked about last night, I don't really credit him with this team.
Well, that was actually one of the questions I've written down was who do you credit this season with? Urban Meyer's recruiting class and Ryan Day's coaching. I mean, I don't want to take anything away from Ryan Day. You still got to get there. He did it. But he had a nice head start. And I'm interested to see how – I mean, they got another great recruiting class this year. I think they finished 3rd I'm pretty sure 3rd in the nation. So, you know, they're going to have the same amount of talent coming back there again. So I'm interested to see how this program shapes under him.
Yeah, I mean, it's not hard when you're coming into a team that has Justin Fields, J.K. Dobbins, Chase Young, and then one of the top corners in the nation. So I would hope you do a decent job with that team. But, yeah, like you said, it would be interesting to see what he does with these other classes and how he can take that team and mold it into his own team, not an Urban Meyer team. So I think that'll be interesting to watch in the years.
So just looking ahead to the national championship game, I don't want to talk about it much because we're going to dive into it a lot more next week. But right now, LSU is a 5-point favorite roughly. Some has it as 4.5, some have it as 5.5. Do you think that's right on the money, or you think it's going to be uglier than that, or you think Clemson wins it?
I think it's fair just with how LSU looked against Oklahoma. Like I said, I think it'll be really close just because of how great Clemson's defense is, and their offense is really good too. And it'll be interesting to see what LSU's defense does against Clemson's offense with Travis Etienne and Trevor Lawrence. I mean, those are a lot of hard guys to handle when you have John Ross and T. Higgins, Lawrence, and then Travis Etienne. So I could see it being a shootout just with how great LSU's offense is, being a high-scoring game. Like LSU wins 38-35.
What do you think, Aaron?
Oh, am I giving an actual score prediction?
No. You don't have to. Just do you think that 5-point?
Yeah, I mean, it's justified. I think it will be a little more. But it also wouldn't surprise me if Clemson won, but I'm definitely sticking with LSU at this point. It'll be the only other team to win besides Auburn that didn't have a top-ranked defense or whatever. Yeah. You know, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's won a national championship, so that's why. Defense is better than Auburn's. Yeah. Yeah, so I guess I'm still going with LSU, but Clemson still could. Yeah, it's really hard to doubt them. A lot of people were, which I don't blame them for not playing anybody. But when you can come and beat a Ohio State team like that, especially when you're behind, and it's 29 in a row is pretty impressive. So.
Oh yeah, it's very impressive. I think that that 5 point is right around it. I think that I wouldn't be surprised if LSU scores a little bit more, but I really don't expect to see a Clemson win this year. Of course, I didn't expect to see one last year, so you really can't. Yeah, so you really can't doubt them. Real quickly, let's look at the score predictions we made for these two games.
I don't even remember mine.
So for Mine, I said LSU would win 49-42. I gave Oklahoma too much credit. Aaron said LSU would win 34-20. And Justin said LSU would win 38-24. So we all had LSU, but I don't think we really realized how much they were going to score. For the other game, Ohio State Clemson, I had Ohio State 28-24. Aaron had Ohio State 36-30, and Justin had Clemson 24-21. So Justin is always seeming to.
I thought I did pick Clemson, so I would have bet everything that I had already picked Clemson.
Yeah. Well, what I got here, maybe you did. I don't know. I could be wrong.
I doubt it. I went back and forth.
Yeah. Either way, you had them very close there. So let's move on from this game then. We're going to talk a lot more about the national championship, of course, next week when we preview that and recap Alabama and Auburn's bowl games. But before we preview Alabama and Auburn's bowl games, Justin, how about we do some Night Needs to Know?
Night needs to know. Probably with some of the stuff you've done before, I probably wouldn't be surprised.
You wouldn't be surprised if I put ashes in cookies and fed them to you?
Yeah, because it was Sunday for the SEC again.
That might make sense then. I guess just
How does that make sense?
Yeah, I would like to know how it makes sense.
Now this is looking like a bad idea.
All right, this is, I don't know how y'all might feel, where you could go on this one. If Clemson was to win, be 30-0 in the past 2 seasons, would they be considered one of the top 5 teams of all time?
I mean, I don't know how you don't make that argument. I don't necessarily know that they would be the most talented, I'd say. Definitely not. But I would definitely say one of the most accomplished, if not the most accomplished. And then also, yeah, I mean, there's a strong argument for them to be one of the best.
I couldn't just claim them to be one of the top 5 ever assembled like Joe Clapp, but I would say I'll give them that they would be one of the most accomplished teams, like Nick said, and then I don't remember what my other point was. Just went completely blank. Yeah, they'd be one of the most accomplished teams, and then I just went blank, so we can just cut this out. What was I gonna say? So yeah, they'd be the most accomplished, but they would definitely be the top program in college football right now, in my opinion. Like, you can't really argue that now with Alabama missing out on the college football playoff, and then Clemson going in there beating a ridiculously talented Ohio State team from behind, and then if they pull it off against LSU, then yeah, they're definitely the top program in the country at the moment with a number 1 recruiting class, and yeah, the teams that they've beaten to get to 30-0, granted most of them, 90% of them were cupcakes, but the ones that they did beat, it said everything it needed to shut people up. So
Yeah, I mean, you take care of your business in the playoffs, and suddenly that cupcake schedule goes to the wayside. You don't hear much about it. Hold on, this mic is looking a little wacky. Let me make sure everything's okay. Okay, yeah, it's fine. But anyways, yeah, I don't expect to see Clemson going anywhere. I mean, they have, I think, definitively the best program in the nation right now, and until Alabama decides to dethrone them again, I think they're going to stay that way, and I don't know that that's going to happen anytime soon. Maybe if Tua comes back, but I don't necessarily anticipate it.
Okay, so if Tua does not come back, what do you expect from Alabama's season next year?
So if Tua doesn't come back, we'd most likely see either Mac Jones or Talia Tagovailoa taking over the reins. I'd be a little surprised to see them just hand it over to Bryce Young, given he's right out of high school. But we've seen crazier things. If he comes in and he's just the best option, then yeah, maybe they'd give it to him. But overall, I think it's going to be a pretty similar season. I think they'll beat LSU because LSU will be likely without Burrow and Brady, and it's going to be a very different LSU team. and I expect them to beat Auburn at home as well. So I don't think they'll have a loss in the regular season, but I'm not ready to say that they're going to be the national champion either.
Yeah, I'm right with you on that. Like I don't see them just being so talented that they can beat a even older Clemson team, next year or because like LSU will be down. I don't think Chase Young and all them are staying at Ohio State. I think they're gone. So I think Clemson would still be. They've got everything in front of them to go back to back, in my opinion. Well, I guess it would be a three-peat actually. Yeah, if they win this year, they pull it off against LSU. They got everything to make it go a three-peat. So, yeah, I agree with you. I don't necessarily see anybody just beating Alabama. I think Auburn will obviously be tough and probably the toughest that they play. I don't think Texas A&M is going to be that much better next year. Yeah, I don't think they're going to be that much better. No, probably be better if Mon didn't come back. But yeah, I think Auburn's the biggest test going into next year for Alabama right now. Of course, that could change. LSU might get a transfer, which I fully expect to happen. But I also don't know who's on their bench right now. So, I see them 10-2 probably, maybe, or 11-1. 10-2, 11-1. Well, no, it'd be 13-1, something like that. Maybe losing a semifinal game if they play Clemson, or I don't know. It just depends on what happens there towards the Auburn game.
Alabama's schedule is very interesting next year. Of course, they'll open against USC, which that'll be a joke. But they do have Georgia in week 3 at home, which that'll be a very interesting game. I'm sure they're glad they have that one at home. And then they'll also, obviously have LSU, Texas A&M, and Auburn to round it out. So, yeah, it's a little bit tougher schedule than usual, and at least Alabama is going out there and trying to get some of those bigger games because we didn't have that this year. So or in many years past, honestly. So, yeah. What else you got for us, Justin?
All right, so with a lot of these SEC teams, like I said, 2 of us will leave, and then Burrow's going to be gone, not really having experienced quarterbacks. You think Georgia has the best shot to win the SEC next year with Fromm? I guess Fromm will be coming back. What do y'all think about that?
I'd expect to see Fromm improve, but not that much. I think it'll be a very similar Georgia team. What I'm interested in seeing is how the run game improves. I think that's everything. So if that run game stays the same, I think they'll have a similar year. If it gets much better, then I expect them to see them competing for the SEC.
I hope I don't regret this, but Mac Jones better than Jake Fromm. Just gonna throw that out there. You heard it here first. Hopefully he doesn't throw for 6 touchdowns against us next year.
I think they're pretty close, honestly, and talent-wise. Fromm's more experience, but from what we've seen from Mac, I don't think there's that big of a drop-off between Fromm. And I'm sure Georgia is still kicking themselves over losing Justin Fields. Was one of the worst moves I've ever seen in college football.
Yeah, I mean, what helps Mac Jones is, I would love to have Jerry Jeudy, Devontae Smith, Henry Ruggs, Waddle. That makes it a lot easier when you can just throw it to these guys and they can run 80 yards and not even get touched. Yeah. So, that's the thing with Fromm. He had, I can't think of his name, his top wide receiver. Well, not even Pickens. He wasn't even their top guy. Because, yeah, I can't think. Yeah, I know. It was like Cagle or something. Was that his name? Yeah. But, that's all I really had because Pickens didn't have as great as a year as many expected. So, I don't know. Maybe if they get some more wideouts around him. But, yeah, he's not really that good. I agree. But I don't know if Mac Jones is better than him. But they're very similar, though. They are very similar.
All right. Well, thank you, Justin.
I guess that's in the 3 games he played.
Well, let's jump into the Alabama and Auburn bowl games coming up this week. So Alabama taking on Michigan in the Citrus Bowl, and then Auburn taking on Minnesota in the
Outback Bowl.
Outback Bowl. Yeah, playing for that.
Of course, where else would Auburn be?
Playing for that bloomin' onion, and Minnesota playing for the jumbo shrimp or something. This one is for all the blooming onions.
I hope I say that if Auburn has a game-winning kid.
So yeah, I'm excited for both of these. Strangely, I didn't think I would. I'm more excited for the Auburn game, just because I really want to see how Minnesota holds up against them. But I'm just going to go over the players that are skipping those bowls really quickly. For Auburn, just one really big name, Nick Coe. He said December 20th that he would be skipping, which I think is the worst decision possible because he had a bad year this year. I mean, he didn't have a single sack after a great 2018, and he was breaking records left and right. And now it's just kind of, I think he absolutely could benefit from playing.
Yeah, and from what I heard, he had some off-field issues too. So, I mean, it is what it is. I don't know where he's going to get drafted at. I mean, he's a good talent, but yeah, I mean, he only had, like you said, he had no sacks. I don't remember how many tackles he had. It wasn't many. So there's nothing good from him this season. So I don't really understand why he wanted to skip out, but I think it was just some issues with the coaches and off-field stuff. So we'll see where he gets drafted, if he gets drafted.
Yeah. So that'll be interesting to see. Maybe he'll perform well in the workouts and everything, but we'll have to wait and see for that. Then for Alabama, Terrell Lewis, linebacker, and Trayvon Diggs, defensive back, they will both be skipping as well. Aaron, how bad do you think that's going to hurt Alabama, losing those two pretty key defensive players?
I don't know whether to say a lot because we're already so thin, or to say not much because we're already so thin. So I don't know. Yeah, I'm getting more worried the more we get. It's just because it's Michigan, and if we don't pull it off, Freezing Cold Takes on Twitter will be an account you would want to follow. If you're an Auburn fan, if you're an Alabama fan, block them now. They will have a field day.
Yeah. And we will also have some takes that won't age well if that was to happen, because we have hated on Michigan hardcore on this podcast.
I don't see Michigan winning just because of what Shea Patterson had to say about Alabama, and I know that'll probably fuel some of the Alabama players. I just don't see Michigan stopping Alabama's wide receivers. I think Alabama will win. But I did see a tweet about Trayvon Diggs. They were talking about how he's absent from practice, and someone said, well, he's been absent all year, so not a big loss.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think Alabama will win that pretty easily.
Alabama, I think, is easily the more talented team. Even without Tua, they should win. Shea Patterson would not intimidate me in the slightest. But, I'm still interested to see how this team prepares for this game, knowing that, it's not a playoff game. It's not something they usually compete for. You don't go to Alabama to play in the Citrus Bowl.
Yeah, no, you usually don't. But, Trayvon Diggs has definitely been absent all year, and I don't understand why he's not playing.
Yeah, he's another one.
He's another one that could benefit. If I haven't had that great of a year, and I know I'm going to the draft regardless of the result, I would want to play against Shea Patterson if I'm a defensive back. Yeah. I'm thinking I get one more game, and it's against Shea Patterson. Yeah, I think I'll take that with a chance of going up some draft boards and earn another $1 million or $2 million on my signing bonus. I think I'll take that chance.
Yeah, I think the risk for me would be worth the reward. If you haven't got, Terrell Lewis obviously did get injured, but if you haven't got injured in the past 11, 12 games, what's one more for Trayvon Diggs? I know he's been beat up a little bit, but I would play. That's just me, and that's somebody that's not playing college football looking out. That's a tough decision to make when you don't want to risk losing all that money, but you could risk getting a little bit more. So what do you? So we said that we think Alabama will take care of business if they play the way they're supposed to. I don't think the defense will be that big of of a issue for Alabama as long as the offense comes to play. And I think that Tua is honestly helping out with that by sticking around, keeping spirits up. That goes a long way. And we see that like last year with West Virginia with Will Greer missing his bowl game. You know, that hurts your team. Like that puts a damper on things when your leader is not there. And the fact that even though Mac will be starting, that Tua is still around, keeping everybody focused and everything, I think that may go a long way as well. Justin, what do you expect to see out of Auburn going against this Minnesota team?
I love that Derek Brown's not sitting out. I mean, it's a risk he's taking, but that's just how he's always been as a player. He's always been team first, and I've always loved watching him play. And I think Auburn, I know the defense will come to play. They should be able to handle Minnesota's offense. It'll be interesting to see what Bo Nix does against Minnesota's defense, because they've been pretty solid all year. I think it'll be a pretty good game, but I could see Auburn pulling away closer to the end.
Yeah, I agree. I think Auburn definitely should win. Obviously, Gus's bowl record is not that great. Yeah, 2-4, I believe. But for some reason, I feel like they may get this one. I don't know. Maybe because it is a little bit of a better game for them than, say, a UCF going into that. I guess they thought they could just win it. This one they're gonna have to play.
And I think there's a lot of momentum going into it as well after winning the Iron Bowl. I think there's a lot of higher spirits. You look at some of the bowl losses. You look at the one, the UCF, Auburn was beat up after losing to Georgia in the SEC championship. And so, I mean, I think there's some high spirits, so I could see Auburn coming in, like I said, winning by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah. That's what I expect to see, but we'll have to get to those when we get to them. I wouldn't be surprised if Michigan and Minnesota both pulled out wins, but I don't necessarily want that to happen.
Go Gophers.
Well, guys, we will save the rest for that. There's not too much to preview for that game. Everybody knows where we're at with these teams. So next week will be our recap for the bowl games and our preview for the national championship. But how about until then we get into some mismanagers?
Did you grab anything when you walked out the door?
Grab nothing but 2 Tortino's pizza out of the refrigerator and my doggy, and we left.
I just kept hearing it. I'm ducking and everything. Died in the house. I got scared. I dropped my hot pocket.
Here's an actual customer out here. What's the best kind of firework to buy?
Wouldn't you like to know, Weather Boy?
And now, it's time for Mismanagers.
All right, so I've got a few stories today to close out the year with. And this first one was a victory many was proud to see, as the Ducks have won in court, the French court, and they are allowed to keep on quacking. You guys seen this?
What did you just say?
So this comes from Reuters.com, but I've seen it all over. The title is "The Ducks Have Won. French court says they may keep on quacking." So I'm just going to read this. The Ducks on a small French smallholding may carry on quacking, a French court ruled on Tuesday, rejecting a neighbor's complaint that the bird's racket was making their life a misery. The court in the town of Dax ruled that the noise from the flock of around 60 ducks and geese, which is a lot, kept by retired farmer Dominique Duth in the foothills of the Pyrenees, southwest France, was within acceptable limits, broadcaster France 3 said. The Ducks have won, Duth told Reuters after the court decision. I'm very happy because I didn't want to slaughter my ducks. The complaint was brought by Duth's neighbor who moved on.
Is that his only option?
To slaughter them?
Instant slaughter?
They would have been sentenced to death.
Just because they lost? Wouldn't be relocated or anything?
Just cut the heads off.
Just killed right there.
Slaughter.
Just mowed down. The complaint was brought by Duth's neighbor who moved from the city around a year ago into a property about 50 yards away from the enclosure in Souston's district. Yeah, I guess they had a mistake here. It says 50 meters, and then it has parentheses yards, but it doesn't say how many yards.
I don't think meters and yards are the same.
No, they don't. They're definitely not. Where Doof keeps her flock. Sorry. The dispute is the latest in a series of court cases that have pitted the traditional way of life in rural France against modern values, which country dwellers say are creeping in from the city. So the neighbor had asked for immediate steps to reduce the noise and for 3,500 euros in damages, according to French media reports.
Because ducks are quacking too
Just
loud?
because ducks are quacking. Now,
She lives in a rural area,
yes, only been there a year.
so I guess she came in from the big city.
That's what they're saying, yeah. Now, Aaron,
What are the damages?
Yeah, what is it?
I guess it would be mental damages, not getting enough sleep, stuff like that.
They can't be quacking that much to have 3,500. I don't know what 3,500
There's
euros.
60 of them now. I ain't gonna.
No, okay,
I'm
yeah.
not gonna doubt. I'm not a big
But what
fan.
else would you expect by going into a rural area?
Well, not 60 ducks in my ear. It's
I
not
don't know.
something I just expect.
I want to know how close they are, though. I mean,
Well, 50 meters.
The facts are all
they're
here.
pretty far ways away, and she's complaining about it.
Yeah.
But there's 60 of them.
I know, but still.
Well, Aaron, this morning in our condo, there was somebody below us that was hammering something all morning.
Wrangle that human being. Let me
And-
find you.
And you
Let
were
me find you.
you were really upset about that. You couldn't sleep, and you
Bare
were
hands.
yeah. So I could see you doing something like this. I don't see you taking it to the court, but I could see you just going out and slaughtering those ducks yourself.
Yes. I don't know how else to say that and be nice about it. If they were bothering me that bad, I would confront the people. I would never take this to court, mainly because I would not want to go through the process or the money. They would just go missing, randomly get poisoned, or start just dying. They would. Yeah, I would not take this to court over a duck.
You heard it here first. Aaron is more than willing to kill 60 ducks.
Here's what they could have done. That person could have just offered up a number saying, "Hey, I'll buy your ducks for this." And then if you buy them, then you slaughter them. And you have a good meal. Yeah.
You eat them every night outside while you're
Yeah.
playing with the neighbor.
This was your duck, Billy. This is Billy. And then you eat another one. This was Bob. So, but I mean, she could have easily she could have easily offered up money saying, "Hey, I will buy your ducks."
Yeah.
And she could have just relocated them. I mean, just put them somewhere else. I don't know.
Especially as much as the court fees probably cost.
Yeah.
Probably wouldn't have cost any less.
It's definitely not worth the court fees at
And she
all.
lost the case. So.
And she lost the case. Yeah, so I imagine she tried to get the $3,500 for damages to pay for the court fees. Kind of glad she didn't get it.
Yeah.
Pretty funny. Anyways, next story comes from Fox News. Aaron actually sent me this one. Oh, no, sorry. He did not send me this one. He sent me the next one.
But I did not read them all. I just read the title and be like, yeah, he can figure it out whether he wants to say that or not.
Well, he sent me one. That'll be the next one. This one he did not send me. This comes from Fox News. Bathroom sign says employees must have, quote, smell check to ensure, quote, not sitting on phone for too long.
Excuse me?
Smell check?
A smell check.
For sitting on a phone?
Sitting on the toilet at work.
Oh, you said throne.
Oh, yeah, no.
Is that what you said?
No.
What did you say?
Well,
Sitting, well, it says sitting on phone, but I guess it's supposed to be like sitting while on the phone.
Yeah, you're on the toilet sitting on your phone.
Yeah.
I thought you
So
meant.
instead of getting-
I was so confused. I thought like they were sitting on their phone and somehow you could smell that. I was like, what is
So
going on?
I guess the problem is that people are complaining they're sitting on their phone too long on the toilet instead of getting work done. That's the complaint, I guess.
Yes.
What do you smell in order to prohibit?
They're in the
Yeah.
bathroom. They're saying if I don't smell something, you're on your phone.
What? Who came up with
So
that?
you're telling me?
Someone's gonna come in there and go, "Oh man, it's time to go. You've been sitting there way too long. I can't smell anything."
Yeah.
I can't smell your nasty. Okay, I can't.
Yeah.
That's just, bruh. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it
That's
is.
the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
So I'm going to read this for you. A workplace bathroom sign claiming that employees must adhere to a strict time limit or else face a, quote, smell check is raising eyebrows. The bizarre sign, apparently an attempt to deter workers from taking lawn breaks, was posted on the bathroom door of an unidentified place of business, per a photo shared on Reddit.
Where is it? Does it say what city it's located in?
No, it's unidentified. They put a note on the bathroom door, and it says, if in bathroom for more than 10 minutes, a smell check will be completed to ensure employee not sitting on phone. If it does not stink, employee's name will be reported to office.
I can go ahead and tell you, it's probably somewhere in California is where they put this thing up. Probably the safe bet.
If I would see that sign, I would go in there and immediately sit on my phone for 10 minutes, and then you talk about taking something to the court. Boy. Yeah, that's one I take.
What are they going to do? Give you a warning?
They're going to get sued is what they're going to get.
Well, this says, one Redditor commented, who is the lucky employee entrusted with this noble task? Another joke, I'd stop flushing just in case. Wait, so if it stinks, you don't get in trouble, but if it doesn't, you do? Says another one. And then somebody else said, this is an obvious joke, right? Real or not, one Redditor had a simple solution, thinking this may be a good time to look for a new job. So, what do you got? I think this is probably a joke, but weird nonetheless.
Very weird.
And that brings me to my last story, the one that Aaron did send me. This one comes from the PRP.com, PRP News, whatever that stands for.
I don't know. I don't even know where I found this.
I saw it on multiple websites though. GoFundMe launched for damages caused by a hardcore show at Denny's.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
It was like one of those hard rock, and everybody just busted into everybody.
So this is quite a long article. I'm going to give you a watered down version of it. So this was in California.
Oh, how about that?
There was a band called Wacko, and they were invited by a 17-year-old to come perform at the banquet hall of a Denny's. The 17-year-old paid like $400 to rent the room, and the band came, and it became an absolute rager. People were throwing things, like chandeliers were destroyed, the chairs and stuff were thrown. Like it was a ton of damages. The 17-year-old is being held responsible because he rented the room. So I'll read this little part. This is from the GoFundMe that was made for this kid. Wacko is hosting a GoFundMe for the kid who threw the Denny's show. He's 17 years old, and the first show he ever booked was the Denny's Grand Slam, which is what they called it, which is so bleeping nuts. Unfortunately, the restaurant pinned him on the heavy damages done to the place. Between a table, a few chairs, and those chandeliers hanging light thingies, the damages racked up close to $1,000, they claim. And they used some more profanity. Bleep that, we'll give them $600 and tell them to go to Walmart for replacements. Anything you can donate would help. Not only does he have to pay for damages, but the kid dropped over $400 on renting the Denny's, and then also threw down cash to rent a generator to host an after-party show under a bridge by a Costco.
That sounds so sketchy.
For all the kids who couldn't get inside the Denny's show. Show the kid some love because he put Southern California punk bleep on the map hard as bleep. You can go watch the video of the show. It's absolutely nuts. It's hilarious to think that was at a Denny's. Whoever this kid was that had the idea is absolutely hilarious.
Just at a Denny's, of all places.
The Denny's Grand Slam. What it was done.
I just understand why he doesn't expect to pay back all the money for all the damages. He's like, oh, it's not my fault, and I didn't pay all this. So, I don't know.
This kid probably got some birthday money, and it's like, what am I going to spend this on?
He must have been a huge fan.
Josh is back. Remember Josh? He's in the background of one of the episodes. He's in the background again. Anyways. Yeah, well, that closes out this episode. Justin, would you like to take us home from memory?
Oh.
Or do you have your notes?
Let me make sure I remember what to say.
Okay, our sponsor this
From
week,
memory.
Jasper Auto Sales. The best in car sales.
The best in car sales, period.
That's their slogan. Jasper Auto Sales, the best in car sales.
Yeah, thank you, Jasper. Like I said, when we drove by there, you have beautiful cars, and I wouldn't be surprised if people bought them because they're very beautiful. So, thank you, Jasper Auto.
I'd be surprised if people bought them. Yeah, that's kind of why they're in business. They kind of make a living doing that, believe it or not.
Thank you for listening on your break from whatever you're doing. If you're, break from school or break from work. Hope you're enjoying this nice Christmas holiday and New Year's holiday. we're definitely enjoying the beach and just sitting on the balcony listening to the waves. Thank you for all that you do. And we love that you listen to our show every time. We hope you listen every time, and you should listen every time. Thank you to Jasper Auto again for all that you do. Oh, our website, if you want to hit us up on our website, it is the GameManagers.com, where you can easily listen to the podcast and check out Nick's great articles. Some of them are great, some of them suck. You can also find us on social media at TGMPod on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can also find us on YouTube. Nick actually posted a little short on YouTube of Lane Kiffin, so go check that out. It's pretty good. Patreon. You can find us on Patreon. We have videos, Let's Playing video games. They're not very good, but it's kind of fun to watch. And then you should subscribe to our Facebook page or YouTube page for future content. We're always doing giveaways. Great stuff. Great t-shirts. Very comfortable t-shirts. I mean, you should feel Nick's. It's pretty soft. I'd love to wear it. Yeah.
I got the soft.
Yeah, you just gotta feel Nick's.
Just feel all over them. It was nice. You should leave a nice review for the show. We love if you comment on the show. Send us questions. It'd make us feel nice and warm on the inside. And I think that's it. And that might be the shortest I've ever done.
You killed it. Good job.
Thank you.
Yeah, it felt like 3.5 hours.
Yeah. Any final words?
Just that we'll be back next week, and hope everyone has a nice New Year's and a great 2020.
Roll Gophers. Adios.
Go Wolverines.
And would you like to say your catchphrase?
Oh, yeah, and War Eagle anyways.
All right, see you guys next time.